And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday night live on the GSMC Sports Network. So make sure you Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show and get some notifications whenever I upload some new content, some new wrestling content to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. I talk about all the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage curtain calls, all the rumors, all the drama. I talk about superstar extensions, negotiations in terms of contracts, also new signings. Talk about promotions from New Japan Professional Wrestling to WWE to MLW to the NWA for makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, Ring of Honor, TNA, AEW. We talk about it here on this show 1,010%. So make sure, you guys be a part of this awesome wrestling fandom. Before we jump on into our next segment, make sure you guys drop a comment, drop a nice little thumbs up. Subscribe to the GSMC Sports Network. Subscribe to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, especially if you guys are wrestling fans. I've been a wrestling fan all my life. And one thing about, watching wrestling and talking wrestling, it's always cool, do it as a family. Something cool about wrestling fandom is you can absolutely hunt down anybody, at a Walmart, a Target, at the bar or whatever, a restaurant, or Disneyland for that matter. You see a wrestling shirt, you can automatically just strike up a conversation, and it's like a mutual respect is established on the right there on the basis. So it's kind of cool. It's nice. That's the only way I could really describe it. But it's always cool. Wrestling fans are always so humble. So make sure you guys, drop a comment. And we are super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily, checks out our shows, all the amazing hosts on this sports network. Make sure you guys support them as well. You guys obviously do make a difference. So, send in those comments on our live chats. Make sure you guys send in those super chats and those super stickers because you guys are super awesome. And together we'll make sure this network, this podcast, is the greatest wrestling podcast in the whole entire world. Actually, I've seen a lot of great wrestling podcasts. I got to be honest. I'm a fan of a lot of shows. It's exciting to watch. It's cool. You know what I mean? All right, we have WWE NXT talk. First and foremost, right off the bat, we got Bayley taking on Cora Jade. Roxanne Perez comes out with the distraction, dressing up as the old Bayley with the Bayley buddies and the I'm a hugger kind of thing. I thought that was kind of cool. I like that. I like that in Roxanne Perez. Reminds me of a young, cocky, conceited. She just wants to rub the fact that Bayley, once upon a time, was kind of like this giant babyface. Was this babyface that a lot of the WWE Universe, she was like a fan, turned to a superstar. And then sometimes she kind of seemed too like babyface. And I definitely love the way how Bayley got super upset about it because, she knew that Roxanne Perez was like, according to kayfabe, never a fan. Never a fan, but she does, she was doing it to mock her. And Bayley, out of everybody in the WWE Universe, she definitely wears her emotions on her sleeves, especially when she's trying to cut a promo. Even when she was a babyface, even when she was a heel, she was always very easy to read. Maybe that's the reason why when she first turned heel, I kind of didn't buy it at first, But I feel like as of right now, it did her career a nice little like due diligence. She needed that to happen. Bayley needed a different character. She needed a whole different, transformation. And bam, you got the role model, from the I'm the hugger kind of thing where Bayley was seen as like kind of like a Kaylani Jordan on NXT. So it'd be interesting to kind of find out maybe Kaylani Jordan kind of goes through that same transformation. And, she becomes a heel because right now the storyline for Kaylani Jordan, I got to be honest, it's a little stale. You see her backstage begging for a North American Championship. And I think it was JC Jane who was like, girl, you already had your chance. You had your rematch, Kaylani. And then Kaylani right off the bat, she was like, well, you haven't faced this version of Kaylani. Like, you know what I mean? It seemed a little like, I was kind of like, oh, okay. Trying to establish a new character in Kaylani Jordan is definitely a must. I would love to see her turn heel. That'd be so badass. She'd be like, Jada Parker as opposed to being an enemy. Maybe she could be like a nice little, like a mentor or something like that. You know what I mean? Maybe they can go along that storyline. Jada Parker, OTM right now, I gotta be honest, it seems, I don't think they're going anywhere. I don't know. WWE just released a haul of superstars, and OTM hasn't really been that successful lately. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, I would never ever I would never ever hope that somebody gets released or anything like that. Absolutely not. But if the OTM wants to stay relevant in WWE, there has to be some kind of different storylines. Maybe somehow, some way, Jada Parker is the new manager of Kaylani Jordan, who wants to see her do good, who wants to I just want to push you on the edge because I feel like you have not unleashed your full potential, and I want to help you do that. And then now you kind of have a different tag team on the map. You have fire, you have ice, you have hot and cold. You have the good cop, bad cop, Kaylani Jordan and Jada Parker. It would be an interesting formulation of a tag team there. And I'd definitely be, Cora Jade able to pick up the victory, obviously, thanks to the distraction by Roxanne Perez. Cora Jade, absolutely, ever since the whole backstage promo with Roxanne Perez, it seemed like Cora Jade is definitely fed up. She's definitely fed up. It was kind of cool to kind of see her go through that, hey, I'm not your friend anymore. You know what I mean? She's doing work in TNA right now. She is, and she's being, she's fantastic. Do I think she's going to win the NXT, championship at Vengeance Day? I don't think so. I definitely think this is going to be a nice way for NXT, for Shawn Michaels to kind of build up this rivalry that they used to battle each other back in the day, I believe, Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. And, now you kind of see this rivalry reunited, and nice little NXT stand and deliver match. Kind of reminds me of Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams going at it. So I would definitely love to see that. I definitely would love to see Cora Jade go at it with Roxanne Perez, both of them NXT's best, young, talented superstars. Roxanne Perez, obviously, she does have an elimination qualifier match on Monday Night Raw against Raquel Rodriguez. But I don't know. I feel like you can stem a lot of storylines from this main event, Fatal 4-Way, for the NXT Women's World Championship at Vengeance Day. And I don't know. I'm excited to watch it. Obviously, it's tomorrow. So is it tomorrow? Or is it on Sunday? I gotta double check that. Next, we have Zarya, Sol Ruca. It seems like they're both heading toward a new direction, a new tag team possibly being formed. It seems like Zarya backstage, very friendly. She had a match with Nikita Lyons. Big win for Zarya. Nikita was always kind of viewed as, for me at least, she always kind of seemed like she was ready to kind of step to that next level. So, Zarya defeating her the way she did, she kind of defeated her, pretty soundly, pretty easily. Not really, that much scrutiny, not really that much, stress in the victory. But the best thing about Zarya is that I feel like she is going to be a major, major star. She's going to play a giant role in NXT heading toward the future. Right now, I feel like Sean is kind of just, developing Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, WWE, especially NXT, going international. And, Zarya, one of the best wrestlers in the independent wrestling scene, obviously from Australia. Being with Sol Ruca, I like it. I definitely love that tag team. I definitely think they could establish some gold there. And, with the Unholy Union, obviously one half was let go. She was released by the company. The only one left is Alba Fire. You got to, once when you take out one tag team, you got to replace it with another. So seeing Zarya and Sol Ruca, on NXT would be pretty badass. And if you think about NXT tag teams, obviously you saw the disbandment between Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez, what we just talked about. You have Last Legend, Cara Jackson. I feel like that faction's not really going anywhere. And I mentioned before, maybe, Jada Parker and Kaylani Jordan could represent the NXT Tag Team Women's Division, because there's not much. There's definitely not much. There's Fatal Influence, but, I'm not really high on Fatal Influence. I feel like Fallon Henley is holding on with that, she's holding on to that title by a thread. Is she a transitional champion? I don't think so. I don't think, because I feel like she has been with the company. She has busted her ass, so I feel like, she definitely deserves a little bit of recognition there. But I don't know. It's I feel like the women's tag team division is just starting to heat up. All right, next we have Oba Femi comes out to speak. Grayson Waller, Austin Theory seem like they're divided, talking crap to each other. Pretty hurtful stuff, too. Perhaps, I feel like it was too hurtful. There's such thing as, dropping a nice little promo where you kind of have a hidden innuendo like, hey, I'm going to kick your ass, too. But this one was just flat out boom, boom, boom. They were like dogging at each other. And I feel like it is time for a breakup. It is time for a breakup. I'm not a huge A-Town Down Under guy. I've been wanting this breakup for about, 2.5 months now. You kind of have to let Austin Theory go off and do his thing. I know right now the transfer portal is closed as of, I think I heard Joe Tessitore say that on SmackDown. But, Grayson Waller going back to NXT seems like a good move. I'm sorry. I feel like it is a great move. I don't really see him on the Raw roster or the SmackDown roster, all by himself. Because, he's kind of like that face. He's that mouth. And I feel like right now on Raw, you have CM Punk. And then on SmackDown, obviously, you have The Miz. And now you Drew McIntyre as well. So, they talk, cut promos and stuff like that. So, I feel like Grayson Waller should come back to NXT. I feel like that'd be perfect for him. Next, we have Hank and Tank going up against No Quarter Catch Crew, going up against Briggs and Inamura. I love the fact that Briggs and Inamura definitely did look like a nice little tag team. It was a great match. They got a title shot. They're going to take on Nathan Frazier and Axiom for those NXT World Tag Team Championships at Vengeance Day. Coming up soon. This is going to be a good match. I don't know if Briggs and Inamura is going to be the people to finally dethrone Fraxium because they've been champions for quite some time. And when you think they're going to lose them, they win pretty soundly. They went to TNA, defended up against the Emmett Brothers, pretty good against not ABC, the Rascals, and they won pretty soundly too. So I ultimately thought Fraxium was going to maybe make their jump to Monday Night Raw, but right now you kind of have the War Raider as the World Tag Team Champion, so it's kind of like kind of need that same little big heavy hitting kind of guys. Maybe Josh Briggs and Inamura make their way to Raw, perhaps. But as of right now, I feel like. But then again, Frazier and Axiom, I feel like have beaten everyone so far. They've beaten everyone so far, and I know there's this new debuting faction that's coming on Vengeance Day. I don't know how dominant they're gonna be, and maybe WWE's holding off to kind of put the tag team titles on them. But I don't know. It's it's always nice going into a PLE, kind of a little mind boggled a little bit, kind of not knowing what's going to happen. Because if something's too predictable, it's not really that fun. So you kind of have to have that sense of doubt, that maybe foreshadow of a potential shocker. So maybe this tag team, maybe Briggs can do it. Maybe Briggs and Inamura can do it. Heritage Cup Championship match. We had Lexis King defeat JDC. As I mentioned before, Zarya defeated Nikita Lyons. Trick Williams accepts a strap match from Eddie Thorpe. Ricky Starks is now NXT. We all knew this was going to happen. We all knew that he was going to leave AEW. He's going to be released, and then he was going to make it onto NXT WWE whenever it was time for him to come back. Well, not come back. For time for him to make a nice little grand, entrance that he really did. They didn't really make too much of a shock factor to it. He literally came out in the middle of the crowd, demanded that he's going to start a revolution, and I feel like he's a huge talented star. I feel like he is, but I just hope that WWE, if they're trying to do something with Ricky Starks, because he kind of gives me maybe I could be jumping the gun here. He kind of reminds me of like a young Rocky Maivia, who seems like he could, a little conceited, but then again, the fans, they like him, but they mostly like him because of the capabilities he can do inside the ring. So, him potentially being NXT North American champion could be a nice little start for him. Well, I feel like I just don't want WWE to kind of make him, I don't want to say poppy, because I don't know if that, I don't know if that analogy is going to resonate with the people watching this show right now. But maybe mainstream, Ricky Starks, in independent wrestling, he brings a whole different style to WWE. And I hope that they let him ultimately express himself in that kind of matter, because if they, if they cut him mainstream to like, you're going to be the next, like I said, you're going to be the next The Rock, and then, he's trying to cut promos that ultimately, like, the style that's not really in his, in his arsenal, in his tool bag, in terms of comfortability and stuff like that. It's just going to look really weird. It's going to look misplaced. So, I don't know. I definitely think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be great. And then you also think, Ricky Starks, he's done some great stuff in the past. So, I'm staying hopeful. I definitely think he's going to be big in WWE. But, it should be interesting to kind of find out what storyline he kicks off first. Main event, steel cage match. Not much to talk about that. The Dawn was betrayed by Izzy Dame. We have, Sean Spears. I don't want to say Kevin Jensen. Brooks Jensen, and I can't remember the other guy's name. I always forget the other guy. Nico? No, not even gonna try. So now you kind of have their faction starting off. Definitely a nice little match. They would have been cool to kind of have that, like a nice little 4-on-4 match at Vengeance Day, because it is technically Let's Get Vengeance, but it might be at it definitely might be heading toward Stand and Deliver. That'd be a nice little match there. Nice little, maybe a main eventer. That'd be pretty badass. All right, without further ado, let's talk about a third segment. We got The Undertaker right now on the hot seat based on some comments he made during an interview with Bully Ray on the Busted Open podcast. We're going to dig into that when we come back. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite high school beverage to join me here in about 25 seconds. So hey, do not go anywhere.